Hi, come on in.
Hello. Hi, I'm Penny.
Nice to meet you. My name's Rachel.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks so much for coming in. Was it easy to find?
Oh yeah, I just use my GPS.
Everyone has one of those these days.
Right.
So I sent you a few things in the mail. Did you get a chance to look at those?
I did, and I filled them out a little bit for you.
Okay, great. Did you have any questions about any of it?
Not really sure.
Not really sure?
Yeah.
Okay, that's okay. I'll take a look at it.
Yeah.
Alright, so I see that you have a mortgage on your
Mhm.
house and a couple auto loans, a credit card. Alright, cool. Looks like you're doing pretty good at paying off the auto loans. They're almost paid off here.
Right, yeah.
And then we have a little bit of a higher balance on the credit card, but that's definitely something we could work on. So yeah, definitely go over that. So, what brings you on today?
Well, me and my husband don't have a budget, and we have no money saved up. We've just been trying to make our payments and the minimums,
Okay.
which is very stressful.
I'm
And,
sure.
you know, there's a little bit of variance in our month-to-month, like budgeting.
Right,
And I'm just worried that, like, if something happens, we don't have any kind of rainy day fund.
right.
It's scary. What if something happens? I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense. That sounds really stressful, and I'm really glad that you came in to talk about it. I mean, I definitely want to work with you and can help you get on a better page.
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So, you said that your husband couldn't make it today?
Yeah. He's not too thrilled to pay someone to help with the financial planning.
That makes sense, especially with all of the, apps and online advising and things these days.
Right.
But, I would be really happy to work with you or both of you if he decides to come in and whatever in the future.
All right. Well, cool.
So, what are some of your financial concerns right now?
Well, the biggest concern is if something happens, we have no money to, like, use to get us out of, like, a sticky situation.
Okay.
If one of us gets injured or sick.
So you definitely need an emergency fund.
Right. And, like, if something breaks down, I don't know what we do.
Do you feel that you are pretty tight every month, or how do you feel you're doing on that?
Definitely tight every month.
Okay.
Some months we're not even able to make the minimums.
Okay. So are you making payments on at least your mortgage and your credit card?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we try to prioritize what we make sure to pay for first.
Okay. Well, we can definitely make a budget or make amends to your current budget if you have one. And just go from there. And we can definitely work at some more of your goals. So I have a budgeting sheet here. Would you be open to looking at that?
Absolutely.
Okay. So you brought in your mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
So on the budgeting sheet. So I heard you saying earlier that you were kind of concerned that you couldn't meet all of your minimum payments.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I would definitely like to get you into a better place where you're at least meeting those minimum payments, and if we can put in some money for some fun things or more towards your goals of savings. It looks like the emergency fund is definitely something that you have been wanting to look more into.
Right.
Have you ever tried to start an emergency fund?
I've tried, but then it's like we always end up dipping into it.
Okay. Why are you laughing?
I don't know.
I'm getting really nervous.
Okay.
Okay. So I heard you saying earlier that you were kind of concerned that you couldn't meet all of your minimum payments.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I would definitely like to get you into a better place where you're at least meeting those minimum payments, and if we can put in some money for some fun things or more towards your goals of savings. It looks like the emergency fund is definitely something that you have been wanting to look more into.
Right.
Have you ever tried to start an emergency fund?
I've tried, but then it's like we always end up dipping into it because it's like, oh, well, let's go out for the special occasion or
Right.
something along those lines. And
Right.
it's just hard, and especially when there's like birthdays, holidays, graduation parties. Like you have to get gifts for people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's so many things going on in life. So something that we could do is we could definitely put in some things for fun or for dates or eating out or even birthdays. I know that May is definitely a stressful time for graduations and birthdays, so I always like to put extra money in that time. That'd be
Okay.
something you want to look more into.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a goal sheet here,
Alrighty.
and I think in short-term goals, we should talk about just creating a budget in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna write creating a budget, and let's do a monthly one,
Okay, that sounds about right.
and let's do it for 2 months and then meet back up. Does that
Okay.
sound okay?
Yeah.
And then for long-term, I'm gonna put establish an emergency fund.
Okay.
So what I would recommend is starting to try to get to $1,000 as fast as you can. So that might be $5 at a time, you know. That might be skipping the early morning coffee and just making coffee at home instead,
Mm-hmm.
and putting that $5 into that emergency fund. So as quick as we can get $1,000 in there, then you'll feel so much better, I'm sure, because then you'll know if the car breaks down or if, you know, we can't meet the minimum payment on this, then we can rely on that. So how does that sound?
That sounds great. Yeah.
So how would your husband feel about putting money in towards an emergency fund?
It might take a little convincing, but I think I can do it.
You think you can do it?
I'll try my best.
Okay. That's good. You know, there's some great apps out there now that some of my clients have used. One is called the Mint app, and basically you can sync it up to your bank accounts.
Oh.
And what it does is just you set a limit, so you could say, I only want to spend $200 on gas. So it will just go and sync with your debit card,
Hmm.
and it will just tell you when you are about 80% of the way there. So it'll tell you when you're at $160, and you will know towards the end of the month that you're getting towards that, and then it will tell you if you go over budget. So that might be something that would be helpful for your husband. If he doesn't want to write down a paper budget, then he can just have it on his phone. So that's something that I like to recommend to people with the Mint app. Would that be something that you would want to try?
Maybe. I mean, I guess our biggest concern would be like the privacy and releasing information about our bank accounts and
Right.
debit cards. Like that's always scary for me.
Yeah, it's definitely scary, and safety is definitely a concern. I don't take it lightly, but yeah, I would never recommend anything that I wouldn't feel personally comfortable using myself with my own finances, or my mom, or my grandma, or anybody like that. So
I appreciate that.
yeah, definitely. If you're not comfortable with it, paper budgets always works too.
Okay.
Okay, so short-term goals. What were some other things that you would like to see happen within the next few months with your finances?
Well, I think it'd be nice to be able to like make the minimums and actually be able to like go out sometimes. Because how many times I get invited to like go out to the bars or do this fun thing, and I'm like, I can't afford it.
Right.
And like, I wouldn't mind buying some new clothing sometimes.
Yeah. So I think that's just a place where you start is making a budget, sticking to it, and that way you can put in those fun things for date night, for shopping, for your sister's birthday, or maybe you get invited to happy hour and you want to go after work. It's been a long week, so we'll definitely put that in there, and hopefully we'll provide some flexibility for your life, because I know how stressful that is, and I definitely want you to have some fun. And money shouldn't be the only thing you have to worry about.
Right. It keeps me up at night sometimes, just thinking about it. And I know it does that to my husband too.
Really. Well, hopefully I can get you in a better place.
I appreciate it.
So what about some other long-term goals? Of course, we're going to work on, these short-term goals of just meeting the financial stressors that you have. But what about some long-term goals? Like, would you like to go on a vacation? Do you have any kids? I'm not really sure.
We don't have kids.
You don't have kids? Okay, so I just didn't know if we should talk
Yeah,
about college planning.
we couldn't afford kids, honestly.
Oh, really?
Long-term goals. I personally would really like to buy a house. That way we're not just paying rent, which is just going out the window. It'd be nice to have a place that, we can eventually, say we own this place and all we have to pay is property taxes.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be really nice, and my mom used to always recommend that to me. The problem is finding the right place and how much should we spend.
Right. Well, that's definitely something we can work towards. It would definitely be nice not to have to pay a mortgage at all.
Right.
But I'm
yeah,
sure
we already
it's
have
stressful.
one.
Yeah. So we talked about you don't have any children.
Yeah, no children. We do have a couple cats.
Oh yeah.
They're basically our children.
Yeah.
We love them so
What are their
dearly.
names? Here. I'm going to give you a budgeting sheet that I'll also email this to you in case your husband wants to look at it. But I'm going to have you put down your monthlies here, which you provided to me, and I can send them to you as well on the sheet. But I also wanted to incorporate other categories like eating out and making a budget for that. What are some other categories that you think? You mentioned maybe clothing.
Okay, you already have groceries on there. Yeah, clothing. Is gas on there too?
So yeah, we
you
have
gas.
your loans, your credit card, utilities, groceries, gas, eating out, clothing. I'm gonna go ahead and put your emergency fund on here.
Yeah.
And I would like to see you guys put at least $100 a month in here. How do you feel about that?
I think that might be doable.
Other thing that I could suggest is doing an envelope system. So basically what it is putting in different envelopes the money that you have to spend. So maybe you have $50 a week to spend on eating out, or $50 a week to spend on lunches, because I know that's something that a lot of people like try to cut back on, is eating out during lunchtime, because that can really build up.
It really can.
You know, $7 here, $10 there, something like that. So some people like to put like $50 in there, and then they can see it and visualize it and just pay with that cash. So that's something that some people like doing, and maybe your husband might be a little more open to that. I know that spending money at the gas station, you know, grabbing something before work or class can be really easy, but that does really stack up that convenience charge. So maybe that's something that we can explore more too, is putting in there, you know, money for fun stuff.
Okay.
Also, it helps with groceries to put money in there, because then you can actually see it instead of just swiping a plastic card.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, half the time I don't even know how much money's in my bank account.
Yeah, so that's where you can physically see it in those envelopes. Is I only have $20 left in my eating out, but I have some money in my fund money, so maybe I can put some money over in there. Another thing that I like to suggest to couples is picking a spending limit. So some couples, it just depends on their budget. Some people pick $50, some people pick $100 or maybe more, but talking about purchases over that amount. So that way when you're out and about and you're thinking, oh, I really want this new jacket, but maybe it's not in my budget, so talking with your partner during those times and spending those spending limits. So would that be something that you feel like you need help with? Or
Yeah, definitely.
so what would be like a comfortable amount for you?
Oh,
Where you would want to talk to your partner before you spent that money?
I'd probably want to talk to him first, especially any kind of major purchase.
So what would be like an amount? Would you think $100 or
For monthly?
just for any purchase if you're out and about? Because I know you have such a strict budget.
I mean, monthly, I wouldn't want to spend more than $50, I think,
Okay.
on something like that, like clothing or, you know.
So this is kind of outside of normal purchases like gas or groceries and things like that. This is more of,
Fun stuff.
yeah, if I want to go buy a barbecue, or do you like to barbecue?
Oh, I love barbecue.
I know, it's such a hot summer topic, so
Uh-huh.
I love barbecue. We just got a new one. So,
Oh, really?
Yeah, well,
Oh,
it's not
gosh.
that fancy, but
Yeah.
so like me and my husband, we talked about you know, not spending over $100 without talking to each other. So
Right.
like he went and looked at this barbecue that I can't remember how much it was right now, but I think it was $200 or something. So he called me and we talked about it. So that's kind of like something that I would talk about. Whereas if I went to a store and found a jacket for $20, I probably wouldn't call him. But if I wanted to buy a $200 jacket, that might be more of a conversation.
Right, yeah, I see that.
So is there something like, what amount would be comfortable for you and your husband? Or maybe you guys can talk about that and come back.
Well, I would say about $50 can make or break it for each month. I would be very upset with my husband if I found out that he went and bought something like a video game for $50+.
Right.
And it's like, you know, because then it's like trading off, and that's not something I would enjoy. I don't really like playing video games, but he's a guy and he likes that kind of stuff.
Right.
And like obviously if I spent $50 on a jacket, he can't really enjoy it either unless it looks really good on me.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I don't know. I would say $50 because that's like $20 is like, you know, a lot, but like it's okay. But like $50, it's starting to get up there, and
That makes sense.
there's been times that we've been literally short, just $50.
Okay. So a $50 spending limit, talking to each other if they have a purchase over $50.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm definitely going to put that on your goals, your short-term goals list.
Okay.
And I think that should definitely help with the budget and the gap in there.
How do I make sure that he sticks to that?
Yes, that
Just
is
communication, I guess.
I think getting him on board with the app or with the envelope system. Obviously, you guys are going to have to be on the same page. I'm always welcome. You're welcome to contact me with any questions if he wants to call in.
Okay.
I think just sharing about your spending and creating the budget, and sometimes it helps if one partner is consistently doing it and they have a time to talk about it. That's what I've seen, and that has been helpful for other people. But getting someone on board is probably the most difficult part, and then communicating about it from there. So if you can get him on board with either the app or the paper budget or the envelope system, I definitely think that we can get him, all the way on board.
Yeah, hopefully.
I just wanted to go over your short-term goals and your long-term goals here. I know that you talked about buying a house one day, and that's definitely such a great goal. I definitely want to get you into a better place right now so that goal can be possible for you in the future, because it is.
Okay.
I just wanted you to know that.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. So short-term goals, I had budgeting monthly. We're just going to go ahead and try it for 2 months on the paper one.
Okay.
And I'm going to send you the one via email so you can share it with your husband. And then after 2 months, let's come back and see if that's working. If it isn't, then that way we can go from there and see if we want to change some different amounts in there. If that's not working for you at all, we can talk about it. Paying the monthlies on your the minimums, at least, on all of your credit cards and things. Maybe skipping the coffees in the morning, and then putting a $50 spending limit and talking to each other before you spend over that amount, and going out money into your budget. So those are some of the short-term goals we talked about. In the long term, we want to establish an emergency fund.
Mm-hmm.
So that's we're trying to put $100 a month in.
Okay.
So we can talk more about areas you want to cut back. Perhaps, do you guys use cable?
We don't have cable, but we have Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon Prime. And I've been trying to argue with him about this, that we only need one of these things, not all.
Yeah. So that's definitely an area you can cut back, because those are probably all about $10 a month, right?
Right, it's something around there.
And so if you have one, maybe you could save $20 in your emergency fund or going out to meet that goal. So that might be a topic of discussion.
Right.
And just suggest maybe picking 2 out of the 4 things that you have to stick with. Do you think you would be on board with that? Or is that something that you guys would want to talk about?
Yeah, we can compromise on it.
Okay.
Because it's going to be hard to pry it out of his hands.
Well, maybe talk to him about it, and we'll see if we can get, at least 2 out of the 4, slim down on that. So that way maybe you have $20 more a month, and then won't be as tight.
Okay.
So I definitely recommend, do you know what your credit score is currently?
I have no idea.
Okay. So I'll give you a good website to go look at it, but I know that meeting the monthly payments and making your utility payments are definitely going to help you in the long run with your credit score. So just being on time with your payments and making those minimums is really important. So I want you to do that for the next couple months, as much as you can. Saving for vacations. You have student loans?
Oh, yes.
You have student loans?
Huge amount of student loans. We both do. And it's always scary, and I try not to think about it. That's the hardest part, is like man, it just puts me in a bad mood to think about it.
Yeah. That makes sense. Well, I should definitely talk to you more about it, but we have a couple different repayment options. You know which one you're in currently?
I don't.
Okay, so that might be something to talk about. Sometimes you can get on a different repayment plan where it can be extended, or you can pay based upon your income. So that can definitely be helpful, because not everyone can meet the standard payment. So we can get an income-driven repayment plan, or even just seeing if a deferment might be easier, or an extended repayment plan might be easier. So that's definitely something I'll want to follow up with you on.
Okay.
Would that be something that you would like more information on? Would you talk more about?
That would be really good.
Okay.
because it scares both of us. Like, we
Yeah.
try to avoid that subject.
Okay. Well, I'll definitely send you some information about it, and we can talk about it in our next meeting. I'll make a note to look at that and see which one you have.
Okay, I'll try to figure out which one. Yeah. Because I'm not even sure.
Yeah.
I feel like I should know that too, and I just don't.
That's okay. This is a really good first step for you to come in and talk about it, because I know that you probably don't have a lot of time.
I don't.
And, I'm really grateful that you came in today to talk about it, because this is a first step towards moving forward.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate you taking the time and really caring.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm here for. So, yeah, I think that we made some really great goals today. We have a couple short-term, a couple long-term,
Mm-hmm.
and this is definitely possible for you. I know that you're talking about everything being really tight, but I think that you can definitely do it.
It'd be nice. I feel like I would just get better quality sleep if I knew that, we weren't going to be strapped for cash for the month.
Yeah, that is stressful. That sounds stressful. Okay, so for the next time, I want you to do the budget on the budget sheet.
Okay.
Talk about it with your partner. See if he's on board with any of the apps, and talk about the spending limit. And then we'll definitely talk about if the budget works for you or not in the next meeting. Maybe talk more about your student loans. Did you have any other concerns for me?
Are the apps free or are they paid apps?
So the ones that I recommended are free. There are some
Okay,
paid
good.
ones, but I don't know if that would really be ideal with what you're looking at, because some of them are more for if you have a business or things like that. So this is definitely, I think, the best fit for you.
Okay.
I think the envelope system could be really helpful, since a lot of times we don't see how much is going on our card, but it's easier to feel the cash money in our hand.
Right.
So
That makes
I
sense.
definitely would recommend that.
Okay.
Yeah. And then just keeping up with those minimum payments, and if you have any questions or anything, I'll give you my card before I go, and I'll definitely send you a follow-up letter in the next few days.
Okay, thank you.
Great. So I'll walk you out.
All right, I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much.